Hi there, Junior Roses. Welcome back to the YouTube. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 100 of the craziest facts about men that you didn't know about. As this video goes on, the facts get more and more crazy and you're less likely to know about them. You're not going to believe the one at the end. It actually really surprised me. Before we start, guys, as always, if you wouldn't mind subscribing. There is a massive 72.4% of you not subscribed. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing and hitting the bell icon, that would really help me out. Thank you, love you. Okay, so the first fact that most people knew, actually 1 in 2 people knew this apparently, men cry less. The male body produces less prolactin, which is the reason men cry less. Interesting. Does that make us, like, physically less emotional? Obviously, men and women cry, and all men and women should be able to cry, but I didn't know there was an actual reason physically that men cried less. But I did know that men cried less. I'm just saying that. I did know that one, all right? I'm not an idiot. I'm interested to see how many of these I did actually know, because I'm terrible at facts. I'm just a bit of an idiot. 1 in 4 people knew this. Men are more competitive. It's due to evolutionary traits linked to resource acquisition and social status. I wonder what it's got to do with evolutionary traits, because why would that help us being more competitive? I suppose we're constantly trying to better ourselves and be better. Maybe that's why it's good from an evolution perspective. I don't know. But then why would women not also have that? 1 in 6 people knew this. Men are more likely to get injured. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, everyone knows. That goes without saying. Just men are stupid. Men just do silly things. Men are more prone to injuries, particularly in sports and accidents. Yeah, that's because, I don't know. They're just idiots, aren't they? They just do stupid... Hey, Jeff, watch me jump down this whole flight of stairs. Oh, that's a sick idea. Yeah, great. 1 in 7 people knew this. Men's sweat smells stronger. Men's sweat contains more androstatidinone. What the hell is that word? I've never seen that word in my life. Making it smell stronger. Well, there you go. Look, I know you're laughing at me because I couldn't pronounce that, but can you pronounce that word? No, probably not. 1 in 17 people knew this. Bald men are seen as more dominant. Men with shaved heads are perceived as more masculine and dominant. It is interesting that because you get a lot of people in like the UFC that are bald. And I don't know what it is. There's something about them. They just look more, I guess, scary, but they just look more like they're going to kill you. And they're going to rip your arms off. 1 in 18 people knew this. Men tend to have larger stomachs. I guess that's partly why we can eat more than women. This means they can consume more food at once compared to women. I did know that, and I feel like more than 1 in 18 people knew that as well. Don't forget, guys, as this video goes on, you're less and less likely to know the facts. I bet you didn't know the last one. 1 in 19 people knew this. Men have a higher pain tolerance. Men tolerate acute pain better, while women endure long-lasting pain. Interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with pregnancy and like childbirth, because I think men would find that excruciating. Not that women don't, but like I wonder if the long-lasting pain has anything to do with childbirth on the women's side. 1 in 24 people knew this. Men have stronger jaw muscles. This contributes to a stronger bite force and a squarer jawline. I didn't know that, but also men are stronger in every muscle group anyway, so it doesn't really surprise me. 1 in 39 people knew this. Men's eyebrows are usually thicker. As men age, their eyebrow and nose hair grow faster and thicker. Interesting. Why would we need that? As we get older, why would we need our nose hair to be so thick? 1 in 47 people knew this. Men are more prone to aggression. Oh, well, yeah. Males are more likely to commit a physical or armed assault. Yeah, is that to do with testosterone? Probably. Also, as I said, men are just stupid. 1 in 62 people knew this. Men's voices lower with age. As men age, their voices naturally become lower in pitch. I didn't think they got higher in pitch. Imagine a baby's just been born. It's like, hello, mother. And then as it gets older, it's like, Mummy, I want my food now. Good evening, mother. It would be a little bit weird. 1 in 83 people knew this. Men seem to be funnier than women. Ooh, controversial fact. I love how that's made it to a facts list. Researchers found that 63% of men were funnier than the average woman. Interesting. I wonder how they did that research. Who's measuring funniness? It's not really something that can be measured, is it? I suppose maybe the amount of people that laugh. 1 in 124 people knew this. Men have higher alcohol tolerance. I definitely knew that. It's due to differences in body composition and metabolism. Yeah, I suppose as we have a higher metabolism, we can have more alcohol than women and it doesn't affect us as much. What a result! Yeah! 1 in 178 people knew this. Men are more likely to take risks. Higher testosterone levels are linked to a greater likelihood of taking risks. Yeah, like jumping down an entire flight of stairs. 1 in 244 people knew this. Men's faces are more asymmetrical. It's possibly due to testosterone-related bone growth differences. What does asymmetrical mean? Does that mean we're more likely to be like even both sides? I think that's what that means. I definitely did not know that. It says it's possibly due to that, but we don't really know. 1 in 389 people knew this. Men have a faster reaction time. This has been linked to higher success in sports and video games. Is that the reason we're like guys are better than girls at video games? Because we have faster reaction times? I suppose really, yeah. Maybe that is. I'm not saying all guys are better than all girls at video games, but it does tend to be the case, isn't it? 1 in 573 people knew this. Men's joints are less flexible than women's. Higher muscle mass and thicker tendons make men less naturally flexible. There you go. Yeah, I'm definitely not as flexible as my sister or my mum. Like, I've got a lot more flexible as I've got older just because I've done more stretching. But when I was in school, I remember trying to do the sit and reach test. The sit and reach test, for those of you who don't know, is like literally as it sounds. There's a sit and reach and you have to see how far up you can touch your toes or go past the ruler. And wherever you'd get to on the ruler, that would be your score. And I couldn't even reach the ruler. I was on minus figures. 1 in 641 people knew this. Men are more prone to acne. Males are more likely to have acne during their teenage years to early 20s. That's a bit shit, isn't it? 1 in 794 people knew this. Men's rib cages are more flared. The volume of rib cage is about 10% smaller in females than in males. Only 10% though, that's not too much, is it? 1 in 821 people knew this. Men have larger thumbs. This contributes to stronger grips and hand strength. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously we've also got bigger hands and fingers. Fingers! You're telling me 1 in 821 people knew that men had larger thumbs than women? Absolutely not. I don't know where they've got that from. Unless they've asked 821 idiots. Like, men also have bigger everything. Like, hands, feet, they're taller, they've got a bigger penis. 1 in 964 people knew this. Testosterone boosts social skills. Testosterone is responsible for making men more extroverted. It's a really big typo in that one, but I think that's what it was meant to say. Interesting, I didn't know that. So testosterone is the reason that men are more likely to go out their way to, like, I don't know, speak first to a lady. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me. I was just shy. Didn't want to speak to anyone. 1 in 1,000 people knew this. Men enjoy independence. Men have historically been pushed into hyper-independence. Yeah, but I think women enjoy it as well. I don't think it's just men, that one. 1 in 2,000 people knew this. Men hate being compared to others. Instead, they prefer to be recognized for their individual strengths. Interesting. Yeah, I'd say that's true. I'd say that's true for me. 1 in 3,000 people knew this. Men have a larger appetite for meat. Men eat more meat and are less open to becoming vegetarian. I wonder if that has anything to do with men having a larger muscle mass and therefore needing more protein. Could be. Having said that though, my sister absolutely loves meat. She's a freaking carnivore. Probably even more than me. 1 in 4,000 people knew this. Men have thicker skin. Men typically have skin that is about 25% thicker than women's skin. God, how would you even work that out? Be a bit of a weird job, wouldn't it? If it was your job to work out whether men or women had thicker skin. 1 in 5,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to have cleft chin. The hell is cleft chin? That sounds really funny. A cleft chin is more common in men than in women due to genetic factors. Sorry, what the hell is a cleft chin? Oh, okay, cleft chin is like, it's like the thing Peter Griffin has. Where he looks like he's got a little ball sack. No, it's basically like a little line, an indentation here. I don't think I have it. No, I don't have a ball sack for a face, thank God. 1 in 6,000 people knew this. Men's hairlines recede early. Males are more likely to start experiencing receding hairline at an early age. I suppose it's also less noticeable on women as well because they have longer hair. Sucks to be a man, doesn't it? 1 in 7,000 people knew this. Men's brains are addiction prone. Men are more likely to abuse substances due to peer pressure. Interesting. I've never understood that personally. I've always just thought if I don't like it, I'm not going to let other people force me into it. But unfortunately, that's not the same for every guy or girl. 1 in 8,000 people knew this. Men's bones heal faster. Testosterone boosts bone density, helping fractures heal faster. I didn't actually know that. So men actually heal faster. Wow. That's pretty cool. What a result. 1 in 9,000 people knew this. Men have larger teeth. On average, men's teeth are larger than women's, especially the canines. Well, I know I said earlier in the video men have larger everything, but I didn't actually know they had larger teeth. That is one thing I thought might be about the same. 1 in 10,000 people knew this. Men are more prone to snoring. It's due to the different muscle structure in the neck and throat. Luckily, I don't actually snore. I'm so glad I don't. But I remember my dad snoring so freaking loudly. I literally don't understand when people snore. I'm just like, why don't you just breathe normally? 1 in 13,000 people knew this. Men's hearts are larger. Brilliant. Yeah, I did know that. It's definitely more than 1 in 13,000 people knew that. The female heart is 1/4 smaller than the male heart. 1/4? Do you mean? Basically 25%. Make sure you stick around to the end, guys, to see the last few facts. They will blow your mind. 1 in 17,000 people knew this. Men's hands are warmer. It's due to a higher muscle mass and metabolic rate. Whoa, I didn't know that. Men's hands are warmer. That's pretty cool. Unless you've got circulation issues, then I guess it's different. 1 in 19,000 people knew this. Male bones are denser. This makes them stronger and more resistant, but also heavier. Yeah, so not only are male bones bigger, but they're also harder to break because they're denser. It's also partly why males are heavier. 1 in 21,000 people knew this. Testosterone can make men generous. Interesting. Higher testosterone levels were associated with greater generosity in men. Interesting. I wonder why. By the sounds of it, testosterone is just great. Give me more. 1 in 23,000 people knew this. Men's skin ages slower. Men tend to show fewer signs of aging than women, such as wrinkles. I don't know if that's true, because when you look at like the oldest men and the oldest women, I think the oldest women look better than the guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm just chatting out my arse. It's interesting though. I not really thought about that before. 1 in 25,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to be colorblind. Nearly 1 in 12 men experience color blindness. Whoa, I didn't know that. Luckily, I'm not colorblind. Have you ever met somebody that's colorblind? It's kind of weird when you meet someone who is colorblind, because it's just like you're thinking, have you ever seen the color green before? Do you know what blue looks like? 1 in 26,000 people knew this. Men have a higher risk of stroke. Men are more likely to experience a stroke at a younger age. Oh God, how much of a younger age? I'm 25 now. No, I'm sure I'll be fine. 1 in 27,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to crack knuckles. Men are more likely to do it habitually. Habitually? So many words I don't know how to pronounce. Men are more likely to do it habitually than women. I think it means men are more likely to get into a habit of doing that. I've never heard that word before, right? Look, I've told you I'm an idiot. Men are more likely to crack their knuckles. I don't do that. Maybe I'm not a man. Hang on. No, it's okay, I am. 1 in 28,000 people knew this. Men blink less than women. Women blink nearly twice as often as men, possibly due to higher estrogen levels. Women blink twice as much as men. What the hell? I've never noticed that. Next time I see a woman, I'm going to examine her. Oh God, that just sounds so wrong. What I mean is, next time I see a woman, I'm just going to focus on her eyes and see if she goes... 1 in 29,000 people knew this. Men's hearts beat slower. A man's heart beats about 70 times per minute, and a woman's about 78. I suppose it's because men's hearts are bigger, so they don't need to beat as fast to pump all the blood around. That would be my guess. 1 in 31,000 people knew this. The male brain is 10% larger, just like it is with everything else. It means men have more neurons dedicated to muscle control and spatial tasks. 1 in 32,000 people knew this. Men have a longer ring finger. Which one's the ring finger? Isn't it that one? Pretty sure it's that one. It's a trait influenced by testosterone exposure in the womb. How do they know that? How do they work these things out? When you say longer ring finger, do you mean longer than a woman's ring finger? I'm guessing so, because it's not longer than my middle finger. 1 in 34,000 people knew this. Men produce more dopamine. Men normally secrete more dopamine, which is often called the happy hormone. Then why are men not more happy than women? Riddle me that one, YouTube. 1 in 36,000 people knew this. Men have a larger diaphragm. The length of the diaphragm is around 9% shorter in females than in males. The diaphragm. All of this bit. Where my tits are. Yeah, again, just doesn't surprise me, that one. 1 in 38,000 people knew this. Men tend to live shorter. On average, men live about 5 to 7 years less than women. Whoa, that's kind of crazy, actually, when you think about it. But I did actually know that one. So if that's true and 1 in 38,000 people knew that, I feel pretty smart. I also think men tend to live shorter because they do silly things as well. It's interesting, though. I wonder why, on average, men live shorter length of time. Like, why is it? It's good, though, that we are living for longer and longer as medicine progresses. 1 in 39,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to whistle. That's a really weird fact. Men are far more likely to whistle tunes or use it as a communication tool. Wow. Now that one I definitely didn't know. I can't even whistle. I mean, I can whistle breathing in, but I can't whistle breathing out. I don't know. You tell me. I'm an idiot. That's breathing in, and then I try going out. See? Someone teach me. The more facts I'm learning about men, I'm beginning to think I'm not a man. 1 in 40,000 people knew this. Widow's peak is more common. This hairline pattern is more common in men than in women. If widow's peak, that's where it goes up and then down and then up. Do I have that? I don't know if I have that. See? I think I'm a woman, guys. 1 in 41,000 people knew this. Men's eyelids are slightly thicker. This is due to higher collagen levels, which makes their eyelids more prone to sagging. No, I definitely didn't know that. I don't know what I'm meant to do with that information, though, to be honest. 1 in 42,000 people knew this. Men have a deeper sleep cycle. Studies suggest men are less likely to wake up from disturbances. That's not true. My girlfriend is the deepest sleeper you've ever met. And I wake up all the time. Whether it's the cat coming in or just stuff going on outside, just the wind. I wake up. She doesn't. I think I'm a woman and she's a man. 1 in 43,000 people knew this. Men's hair greys later than women's. Oh, yes! What a result! Men's hair greys later due to a slower decrease in melanin production over time. Well, there you go. That's so good. What a great fact. 1 in 44,000 people knew this. Men's nostrils are wider. Oh, good. Men tend to have wider nostrils to allow for more air intake during physical activity. It's interesting that when I'm really out of breath, or not even really out of breath, I notice I breathe through my mouth a lot more than I should. Like I feel like I rarely breathe through my nose. I don't know if that's a bad thing, because doesn't it, if you breathe through your nose, doesn't it go more to your brain? Hopefully it's not too bad for me. 1 in 45,000 people knew this. Men's skin produces more oil. This helps keep their skin hydrated, but also makes them more prone to acne. Okay, so that's why we're more prone to acne. That's why we get more spots. It all makes sense now. 1 in 46,000 people knew this. Men have weaker teeth enamel. It's an inherited trait, and women have stronger enamel than men. Interesting. I wonder why. What even is the enamel? Is that just the teeth, or is that something on the teeth? I'm not really sure. 1 in 47,000 people knew this. Men have more facial expressions. Men's subtle facial expressions are influenced by genetics and testosterone. I actually genuinely think my facial expressions are what helped me get big on TikTok back in the day. Just because I could do so many faces. For Henry, for example, he just opens his mouth really wide. I've got so many different facial expressions I can do. And I guess if I was a woman, maybe I couldn't do that. Wow, maybe I am a man after all. 1 in 48,000 people knew this. Men burn more calories at rest. Men have a higher metabolic rate, burning more calories at rest. Yes, I did know that. Come on! 1 in 49,000 people knew this. The male brain is more specialized. This enhances their ability to focus on specific tasks. It's definitely the way my brain works, because they say women are really good at multitasking and doing different things. I'm terrible at multitasking. I much prefer to just focus all my brain power into doing one thing really well. Maybe that's just me. 1 in 50,000 people knew this. Men have a better sense of direction. It's likely due to evolutionary roles in hunting and exploring. I don't know if my sense of direction is good or not. I'd say not amazing, to be honest. I rely on my sat-nav too much. 1 in 51,000 people knew this. Men have more belly fat storage. Basically a nice way of saying men are more obese. Men tend to store fat around their stomachs, increasing the risk of metabolic diseases. Interesting. I wonder why we would have evolved that way. Like if we put on fat, we have our fat around our bellies, whereas women have it, I don't know, around their bum? I don't know. 1 in 52,000 people knew this. A man's voice can predict his fertility. Very deep voiced men may have lower sperm counts. Whoa, I definitely didn't know that. So if you have a really high pitched voice and you talk like this, It actually means you have loads of sperm. And you're ready to impregnate a woman. But unfortunately, no woman wants to sleep with you when you talk like that. Oh, God. 1 in 53,000 people knew this. Men's nails grow faster. On average, men's fingernails grow about 3.5 millimeters per month. Why would we need that? Why? There must be a reason that happens. Could be linked to testosterone. Who knows? 1 in 55,000 people knew this. Men have a longer nose bridge. On average, men have longer noses, possibly for improved oxygen intake. Well, it could be that, but also going by everything else in this video, we also just have bigger everything, don't we? So maybe there's no specific reason for it. Maybe we are just a woman, add 10-15% and take the tits away. And that oh, JJ Rose 2025. Oh yeah, it's my quote. My quote of the year. Add 10-15% and take the tits away. You have a man. 1 in 57,000 people knew this. Men are more prone to nosebleeds. Oh, that explains it. Because I get nosebleeds quite a lot. Actually, I haven't recently, but I used to. Especially when I was exercising, I would get nosebleeds. This results from higher blood pressure and larger blood vessels in the nose. Maybe that's my proof that I'm a man, that I get nosebleeds. 1 in 58,000 people knew this. Men carry more oxygen in the blood. Women have average hemoglobin levels 12% lower than men. I wonder if that's partly why we're better at like long distance running as well. It seems to be, of all these facts, what I'm noticing is we just seem to be like 10 to like 15% either bigger or have more of something than women. It's interesting. 1 in 59,000 people knew this. Men are less likely to visit a doctor. Men are up to 50% less likely to seek medical attention than women. I wonder why that is. Is it because men are like too proud? If that's why, then that's so stupid, isn't it? 1 in 61,000 people knew this. Men tend to have larger bladders. This allows greater urine storage capacity. Again, yeah, I knew that. We have larger everything. 1 in 64,000 people knew this. Men's blood clots more easily. Oh God, that's not good. Maybe that's why we don't live as long. This can lead to serious conditions like deep vein thrombosis. That does sound serious. 1 in 71,000 people knew this. Boys start speaking later than girls. Boys often produce their first words and sentences later than girls. I did not know that. I wonder why. 1 in 73,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to be night owls. Okay, so men are more likely to want to go to bed late and get up late than women. Studies suggest that men naturally prefer staying up late and waking up later. I would say I am a night owl. I also say my mum and my dad and my sister are. I think we all are. I feel like it's partly a family thing as well, and like your environment and how you've been raised. I don't know. That would be my guess. 1 in 77,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to be left-handed. Men are 23% more likely to be left-handed than women. Well, there you go. That explains it. Yay! I'm a lefty. I wonder what it is that actually decides whether you're going to be left-handed or right-handed. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, why am I left-handed? What is it? What is it going on upstairs that made me go, I'm going to pick things up with my left hand instead? F you, right hand. 1 in 79,000 people knew this. Men have a weaker sense of smell. Oh, okay, I'm glad to hear that, because I actually thought there was something wrong with me, because my sense of smell is so bad. Like, I could smell a piece of shit from here. I'd be like, is that chocolate? I'd have no idea. Women are typically reported to have higher olfactory sensitivity. I wonder why. Okay, guys, we're getting into the facts that I bet you didn't know about now. 1 in 80,000 people knew this. Men's hands age slower. A woman's skin is about 15 years older than a man's of the same age. Why? Why would women's skin age faster than a man's? What possible benefit is that for us? 1 in 81,000 people knew this. Men have a longer urethra. The average male urethra is about 8 inches, while women's is about 1.5 inches. That's a massive difference. What the hell? Yeah, that's not even a little bit. That's like 6.5 inches. 1 in 82,000 people knew this. Men see motion better. Interesting. Men are much better at visually tracking moving objects. I mean, that must give us a massive advantage in sports. Jesus. 1 in 83,000 people knew this. Men have fewer taste buds. This is one reason why men are generally less sensitive to bitter flavors. You're telling me if I have like the best meal ever, that's going to taste better to a lady than it is to a guy. Wow, that makes me want to be a woman. just for a day, just to have my best meal ever. 1 in 84,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to get gout. Men are 4 times as likely to live with gout than women. Ugh. 1 in 86,000 people knew this. Men's blood type A is more common. Men are statistically more likely to have blood type A compared to women. Well, if you knew that, give yourself a pat on the back, because I definitely didn't know that one. 1 in 87,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to be dyslexic. Whoa, there you go. Men are diagnosed with dyslexia at a much higher rate than women. I don't think I am. I've never been tested for dyslexia or anything, to be honest. I've never been tested for anything. But I don't think I am, actually, to be honest. I mean, I can read. I say I can read. You've seen me try and read. But the words I struggle with, right, are the words that are big, all right? So lay off me. 1 in 89,000 people knew this. Men have a greater lung capacity. A man's lungs are 25% larger, allowing for more oxygen intake. Wow, 25%. That is a big amount. Again, that is going to give us such an advantage in like sports and stuff. 1 in 91,000 people knew this. Men have a greater ability to store iron. This is why men are less likely to suffer from iron deficiency anemia. Whoa, there you go. I guess that's why it's important for women to constantly eat more iron, because I've heard that's quite a common thing. 1 in 92,000 people knew this. Men's eyelashes tend to be less curled. Eyelid shape and hair structure impact male eyelash straightness. Men's eyelashes are a bit more straight than women's. How are my eyelashes? 1 in 96,000 people knew this. Men have more elastic blood vessels. This helps with high blood pressure, but increases aneurysm risk. Oh, good. I wonder why. Like, why are men and women so different? It's just interesting to see the differences, isn't it? Like, on a close perspective. 1 in 99,000 people knew this. Men are more likely to ignore oral health. A study showed that men have poorer oral health habits than women. So basically, men are less likely to brush their teeth because they're bloody disgusting. 1 in 102,000 people knew this. Men's sinuses are typically larger. This can influence voice resonance and susceptibility to sinus congestion. So does that mean we're more likely to get congested or less likely? I guess less likely because we've got bigger sinuses. Next time I see a lady, I'm going to say, my sinuses are bigger than yours. Ha ha! 1 in 114,000 people knew this. Men's handle colds worse. Studies say men have more symptoms than women when they have a cold. Interesting. You would guess, after looking at all the other facts, that men would be able to recover better. Apparently not. Apparently women are better at recovery. Well, actually, women have less symptoms. It doesn't say better at recovery. Okay, there's a real jump up here. 1 in 159,000 people knew this. Men prefer spending on experiences. Men often prefer spending on experiences over material goods. Interesting. It depends what it is for me. Like, yeah, spending money on a holiday would be great. And it is great. But I also love buying, me personally, I love buying tech. Like, that just makes me the most excited thing ever. Like, buying a new phone, for me, is just, I don't know what it is. It's so exciting. But would I rather go on holiday or buy a new phone? See, that for me, I honestly, genuinely, they're like neck and neck. 1 in 278,000 people knew this. Punching makes men feel better. Hitting a punching bag provides a physical outlet for pent-up frustration. Yeah, I'm not really much of an aggressive guy, to be honest. That's how I punch. But also, so does just exercise. That just makes you feel better. It's like that's like an outlet in itself, whatever exercise you're doing. I'd imagine punching, though, is probably the best, one of the best. 1 in 324,000 people knew this. Poor men prefer heavy women. Really? Men prefer bigger women when resources are scarce. Whoa. I've never heard of that before. I wonder why that is. I'm guessing it's because, as bad as it sounds, if you're poor but you see a heavier woman, you're like, oh, it's okay. I'll be with her because I won't need to feed her as much. Oh. Yeah, that does. I mean, there's no other way of saying it, but that does sound bad. But is that why? I don't know. 1 in 453,000 people knew this. Men's fingers. Men's fingers have more sweat glands. This makes their hands sweat more than women's, even in identical conditions. Yeah, that happens to me. It happens to me when I play badminton. It's so annoying, because then I lose grip of my racket. Then I'm just throwing my racket. 1 in 589,000 people knew this. Men's feet are more likely to be flat. Men are more prone to flat feet due to different foot arc structures. I don't even know if I have flat feet. Who knows? 1 in 639,000 people knew this. Men have better night vision. Men often have superior night vision due to more rod cells in the eyes. Whoa, that's pretty cool. I want more rod cells. Imagine if you had unlimited rod cells and you just could see for miles in the dark, like you had a pair of night vision goggles on. 1 in 881,000 people knew this. Men's brains shrink faster. I only just found this out the other day that the brain shrinks at all. And now you're telling me that men's brains shrink even faster than women's. Great. While the brain tends to shrink with age, men's diminish faster than women's. Maybe that's why women live longer. Could be one of the many reasons, to be honest. Okay, guys, we have made it to the last two. I can guarantee you didn't know that. 1 in 965,000 people knew this. Men can also produce milk. What? Men have mammary glands that can produce milk under certain hormonal changes. Ugh. You're telling me that under certain hormonal changes that I could produce milk out of my breasts. What the hell, man? Why? Why would I need to do that? Is that a thing? Like, would I be able to, like, feed a baby with my tit milk? Or is it not good for them? What the hell? It's so weird. Okay, and the last one, guys. 1 in a million people knew this. Men are more prone to autism. Autism is about 4 times more common in men than in women. Wow, I definitely did not know that. Thinking about it though, in my school, there were definitely more boys than girls with autism in my school. Like, yeah, 100%. But I just never really thought about it. Yeah, it's very interesting though. Well, that is going to be it for today's video, guys. Let me know in the comments which of these facts you didn't know about. I'd love to know which ones you learned. There's loads of those facts I didn't know about. I mean, a lot of them I did. I'm a genius, you know. But loads of those I didn't. Like, the fact that men can produce milk. What the actual hell? Why would we possibly need to do that? All right, take it easy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!